thought. In a few of the schools, like we talked about Bruce Lee's stance, where he's like this position, which is from like the fencing stance. The one thing that we don't do is have two different angles. Alright? Now the reason we want our feet to turn and be equal at 45 degrees maximum is A, because if we turn too straight, our knees come together, which gives us a weaker centre of gravity and balance and a weaker foundation. And the other reason we want our feet at 45 is because now, when I'm pushing, I'm actually still accessing the biggest muscle in the body, which is the gluteus maximus. Yeah? If my knee is facing forward, because I'm pushing in this direction, I'm using the muscle directly behind that line, and that now becomes the hip flexor. You understand? So I'm not using the best muscle to push with. Even though my whole body's going forward and my weight is going forward, the power that I can generate by using the bigger muscle, by keeping my feet at 45, is going to be stronger than me having my foot out and facing forward, and my body direction going this way. I'm using all the muscles in the opposite direction. Yeah? That's why when we walk, it's the glutes that are the biggest muscles, because they're used going forward. Yeah? So when we're pushing or when we're stepping, we want to access this. Now here's my centre, and as you can see, it's coming straight down through my glute. Yeah? If I turn my hip out, I've now taken the glute off centre here, and it's now coming through the hip flexor. Yeah, so that's why we want this 45. So that now through my jig, my centre, it's coming straight through my glute, and I'm actually using that muscle to push as a runner would do, or a sprinter. So that's what I'm using to generate the power through the floor. My foot stays flat, we don't go up onto our toes, we use the whole foot to push. So the more contact I have with the surface, the more power I can put into the ground to push off with, instead of rolling up. This breaks your foundation, leaves you weak. Yeah? So you want to stay low, so when you push, that's what you're doing. Keep everything at 45, so your hips, your knees and your toes are at 45. Your shoulders rotate through to 90 from this position, keeping the muscles strong. Your knee is more or less on the centre, so you can use your knee to cover your groin if you want, so you've still got part of your centre line covered. From here you've got your kick and your step. So that's why we keep everything 45. Don't let your feet go forward any more than that, because now your knees get together and your balance is weak. 45, that's the maximum you want to turn to. Okay, so from here, 45. Keep them parallel, 45. Don't let the hips drop. Keep your hips forward. Yeah, that's what you want, hips forward. Dantien, always forward, being able to kick. All your weight on your back leg in our lineage, so we've got use of the front leg now as a kick or a sweep, whichever we want to do with it. Okay? So when you open your stance, make sure your heels don't go any wider than your shoulders, because if you do, you find it difficult to transfer all your weight onto the back leg. Alright? If you're doing 50-50 in some other schools that they do, it's fine, it doesn't matter, because they're not transferring the weight. But for us, we want to transfer the weight to the back leg, and as you can see, I've now ended up back underneath my shoulders. Alright, so bear all that in mind. For your chunma, for your turning and for your stepping, you always want to finish in the same position you started off. Okay, cheers.